Hello, my name is David Connor, and I will be your host for today's Houston Symphony concert. That music that I just played was by the composer Antonio Vivaldi. You might have heard catchy melodies, different parts that go together in harmony, and neat organized musical phrases that both start and end together. These are all hallmarks of the music that was being composed during the Baroque period, which is when Vivaldi was alive, in the late 1600s through the early 1700s. But Vivaldi also wanted to write music that was new and different from anything else that was being composed at that time. He decided he wanted to write a violin concerto, which features a violin soloist in front of the orchestra. And in that concerto, he wanted to include sounds from nature. So if you step outside your door, you'll hear all kinds of different sounds in nature. You might hear raindrops on the roof that make a cool beat. You might hear a bird singing that sounds like a song that we might sing. But how could we take those sounds from nature and put them onto a musical instrument? Well, to help us with that, I'd like to introduce my good friend, Houston Symphony violinist Boson Mo. Nice, Boson. That was pretty impressive. Some of those were so similar to the animal sound that you were imitating that I could barely tell the difference. So Vivaldi didn't just write one concerto. He actually wrote 4 at the same time, and he named them Spring, Summer, Fall, and Winter. And this set is called the Four Seasons. Now, when the Houston Symphony performed the Four Seasons, they asked Boson if he would step out of his usual chair in the second violin section and be one of the featured soloists. He played the concerto Spring. So, Boson, could you tell us a little bit more about this piece of music?
Absolutely. What you'll hear me play today is a musical representation of spring. Think about some of the sounds that you might hear during the springtime. Chirping birds, a gentle stream, a thunderstorm perhaps. These are all imitated in the concerto. And I really think that Antonio Vivaldi chose to feature the violin because it's a really expressive instrument and it's really great at imitating all of these sounds. Plus, he was a violinist himself, so he really knew the instrument very well and really knew how to present all of these features.
As Boson mentioned, Vivaldi really wanted to give the audience an impression of springtime. So he also wrote a poem to help us understand the music and relate it back to the elements of nature that it represents. Spring has arrived with joy, welcomed by the birds with happy songs. And the brooks, amidst gentle breezes, murmur sweetly as they flow. The sky is caped in black, and thunder and lightning herald a storm. When they fall silent, the birds take up again their delightful songs. Now let's see how Vivaldi used the orchestra and the violin to create the sounds of chirping birds, rolling water and gentle breezes, and thunderstorms.
One of the things that Vivaldi did was to write this incredible moment between the soloist and two other violinists to illustrate the birds with their happy songs. Take a listen to this trio of violinists' bird songs played by me and my colleagues Marina and Annie.
Once Boson mentioned that Vivaldi was writing bird songs into the music, my ears picked up on it right away. But in this next part, Vivaldi had a bit more of a challenge because he was writing music to describe the flowing water of the brook. Let's listen to the sound of a brook and see if we can brainstorm what kind of music we would want to write to go with it. Do we think that this music would be for full orchestra or solo violin? Would this music be ruckus and loud or gentle and soft? Do we think it would be steady and consistent or random and wild? And do you think the notes would be separate and short or long and connected?
Here's a section that I love because Vivaldi uses the orchestra so well to show the thunder and lightning. It starts as a call-in response between me and the strings, and then the two voices join together. You can really hear the rumbling of thunder in the bass and the cello.
Now that we've learned about Vivaldi's compositional process and heard some different examples from the music, it's time to hear what it sounds like when we put this all together in this beautiful performance by Boson Mo and the Houston Symphony conducted by Nicholas McGegan. Following that, we'll hear another great Houston Symphony violinist, Principal Second MuChen Hsieh, performing Winter, where Vivaldi describes chattering teeth, howling winds, falling snow, and stomping boots. I know you're going to really enjoy these performances of movements from the Four Seasons by Antonio Vivaldi. Thank you.